Aha! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Paranormal. We've been on a little bit of a holiday break, but we are back now, and we're ready to rock and roll. Isn't that right, Matt?
Absolutely.
The comments have been on fire. I don't
I
know for how.
noticed. Good gosh.
My God. We are we're back from a little bit of a break. Scott, how's it going? Back from a little bit of a break, and what's going on with my connection here? Again, my connection is unstable, and I don't know why. We
How am I
are
looking, everybody?
we are hardwired. Hold on a second. Let me. Weird. All right, that's as good as it gets for me, anyway. Look, guys. Tonight we have a bunch of clips, and they run the gamut of craziness. So I thought it would be fun to just you know, I'm really curious to see what Matt thinks about some of these clips because oh great, what's happening? I'm losing my connection. When you talk about some of these conspiracies, you know, and these theories, they're just some of them are so out there that you just have to I like to hear what people have to say, no matter how crazy the theory. Um, and sometimes I'm reserved about my true thoughts, but other times not so reserved. I'm really curious to see because we really haven't talked about flat Earth much. Now, I'm not really a flat earther, and I'm not really I don't know what to believe because I don't trust NASA. And until I'm up in a spaceship, I can't tell you whether or not the Earth is flat or if it's a ball. And when NASA fakes images all the time, and um, there is some somewhat compelling evidence supporting the theory that maybe space isn't real and maybe the Earth isn't a ball. Um, I've seen some things where I'm like, I could see where they're coming from, but then I also see misinformation coming from people of reason that are supposed to be believable, where they go so hard against certain things, and it runs not just flat Earth, but the moon landings being fake. You even see it with like the pandemic and stuff. You see these talking heads shoot down these theories so quick that you have to wonder, like, okay, what makes them an authority? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't personally, I like to do my own research. That's why I really don't have a theory about, how I feel about flat Earth, other than I've seen some ridiculous stuff where I'm like, no wonder people think you guys are crazy. And then I've seen some stuff where I'm like, okay, these people, this specific, small group of people, they were uh flat Earth debunkers for a long time, and the more that they studied it to try to debunk flat Earth, the more they're like, hey, there might be something here, which is crazy to me. But then you get into Antarctica and the NASA stuff with I don't know if you guys have, Matt, have you ever looked into the videos that NASA has taken on the International Space Station about them being fake and about glitches in the CGI and stuff? Have you ever seen any of that?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, I wish I would have queued up way more than, damn it. Um, it's super interesting, but we're going to get into that today. Not all of it is flat Earth. Not all of it is space being fake. We got some dinosaur stuff. We got a couple giant clips. We've got an interesting time traveler clip. And then some globally children blood drinking clips. It's going to be interesting. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off right now. And the birds aren't real one. That's a little bit too far out there for even me. But
I mean, for it being a troll like theory
damn
that guy
good troll.
started, it was cake because that everybody ran with. So many people ran with it.
And I will say this: in the flat Earth community, I can't believe there's a community. It's crazy. Um, there are like conflicting ideas, and from some of the stuff that I've heard that's actually compelling, they're saying that there's actually a misinformation campaign from people claiming to be flat earthers to make it sound so ridiculous that there's no way on earth anybody would believe it on the surface. And that's why so many of these talking heads are like, this is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Whereas when you get into the flat earth people who are like super serious about, like, their angle is that we're a lot more special than we're led to believe, and that their only conclusion in studying the flat earth is that we are God's creation and we were created. And it flows into simulation theory. It gets wild. But let's kick off this first video. This is kind of a fun one.
Now, this is really creepy. Anne Hathaway is being talked about for her beauty, but what about the fact that her husband looks very similar to William Shakespeare? And William Shakespeare's wife's name was literally Anne Hathaway. Are they immortal? Or just time travelers?
I thought that was a fun coincidence.
Okay, two things. They are probably immortal. But I'm very okay with it for Anne Hathaway.
I just thought it was, I saw that and I was like, really? And then to find out that Shakespeare's woman was named Anne Hathaway too. That was, for me, it was just funny.
Hey, I'm just saying, they are immortal. They probably dug them up, cloned them.
Yeah. It's almost like we are in a simulation and they're actually NPCs.
Yeah, it's just a
and
reload.
They don't have enough.
This is like reuse these NPCs, they won't notice.
I would love nothing more than to run into my doppelganger at some point and then fight him to the death.
I've met mine. I didn't fight him, but I met mine.
That was a fun one. The next two are giant related. Now, I've never seen this first one, so I thought it was kind of interesting. Now, I'll let you be the judge, man. I want to see what you have to say about this one.
Lay it on me.
Let's talk about this giant gladiator helmet found at the bottom of the ocean. You're going to want to stick around for this one.
Okay, guys, what you're seeing here is a giant helmet at the bottom of the ocean. Now, we know many civilizations have been lost to the rise of the sea level, and lands have been lost as well. This includes Lemuria, Atlantis, Terra Vista, Zealand, and that's just to mention a few of what we know of. Now, I have made a video on this previously in The Moon is a Mirror. So if you look at that video, and I'll put it in the description, you will see on the reflection of the moon, the lost continents. Now, I'll go and make another video on that at another time, but today I want to talk to you about this giant helmet. A giant helmet for a giant. Now, you can see in the top corner, I've taken a picture of what a gladiator helmet would have looked like, and what it does look like actually, and you can see the comparison, and it's uncanny. Now, if we say that the diver is around 5'5", 5'8", the helmet would be at least 6 or 7 feet high, give or take a foot. And we know that a human is around about 6 or 7 heads in structure. So if you take a head, you times it by 6 or 7, it will make up the rest of the body. So for all you Google fans, I Googled it and I put it above in the description. I then took a picture of the helmet, and I put it on the biggest giant that's been recorded in history. And if you do the maths, it works out about right. 6 of the giant helmets would add up to the body, and it fits perfectly on the biggest giant in the picture. And for those of you that are wondering what has happened to all the giants and the skeletons and whatnot, many of them have been lost and hidden under the mud from the last civilization reset, which was the mud flood. Now, civilization resets happen approximately every 200 to 400 years. They can be a water reset, like a flood, a mud flood, something to do with a large plasma explosion in the air, which can melt stone and break stone and obliterate anything in sight. Also, if you look at news articles from the Times the New York Times from the 1900s, you'll see that there are many reports and articles written on giants found on native Indian land. Now, some of these were paraded around, but many of them were confiscated by the Smithsonian. And they're a museum, but they're also an organization that acts to cover up historical facts that doesn't fit the narrative. So obviously, smaller people, hobbit-like people that were found on the Polynesian islands and giants don't fit the narrative of out of Africa and the evolution theory from the ape. But people may lie, the media may lie, the books may lie, the educational curriculum may lie, but the architecture and the remnants of certain artifacts don't lie.
Okay.
A lot of speculation there.
A whole lot of speculation, because every 200 to 300 years, we'd already been reset.
Yeah. When it comes to artifacts like that, you can show me giant swords, giant hammers, giant doors like this next clip.
Like,
Go ahead.
I want to be honest. It looks like a structure put there on purpose for a dive, like for something to see. Like, it looks like a concrete deal made up.
It could very well be.
That's what it looked like to me. But I mean, because like you got people that host dives and snorkeling and stuff like that. They put stuff like that out there for people to actually swim down and look at and stuff like that. Like there's a couple of airplanes sunk in the lake by me for people to dive down to, and school buses and stuff.
Purposefully, so that they can go check them out?
Yeah.
Really?
Infrastructure for fish to live off of. There's one resort that I know every morning, bright and early, the staff goes out and tosses rum bottles with messages in them. In the bay, so that people can go snorkeling for them, and then they have rum.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. So that's under the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's entirely possible, and we can say that that's probable in this situation because you're talking about a helmet that
I dig that he went that hard on trying to do the math to make it fit to fit something. I mean, I dig that he tried that, but I mean, there was a lot of speculation in what he was talking about on his part. Like,
and unfortunately, with what can we trust in history books, there's a lot of speculation around a lot of stuff surrounding giants. And later, when we get into dinosaurs, it's funny because one of the theories is that dinosaur skeletons are a cover-up to cover up giant skeletons. And they're just saying, hey, these are dinosaurs, but in reality, the bones that they're finding, because allegedly they've never found a complete skeleton of a dinosaur.
They have not once.
And they speculate on what these things look like.
Yep. The T-Rex has been redesigned about 10 times since it was first discovered.
Now the damn thing has feathers and wings. You know what I mean? It's like
I think dinosaurs are dragons. Some of them. I think dragons were just a type of dinosaur.
I definitely subscribe to the giant lizard theory.
Yeah.
Whether they're call them dinosaurs, dragons, whatever, I do think that they existed at some level.
Yeah.
However, it's not too far of a stretch to say, they find a giant femur that looks human, and that's a dinosaur bone. Don't worry about that.
My thing is like I don't buy into the evolution part of. Do you know what they say the closest living relative to a T-Rex is now?
What, a chicken or something?
Yeah, it's a goddamn KFC extra crispy bucket. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, so the peregrine falcon is the closest thing related to the velociraptor, but freaking Cluck Cluck is the goddamn successor to the T-Rex. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying that. I don't know. There's just it really sometimes when I start thinking about this kind of stuff, it starts giving me a headache because I start racking my brain. Like, we really don't know what the hell happened in the past. We're just trying to piece together And it makes me wonder if anybody actually does. And if anybody does, it's probably the global elite, and they don't want us to know the truth.
Bro, they
But
don't want us to know anything. It's fine. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and this is shitty of me, but if I was in their little club, bro, I'd be sitting back laughing at all the shit people come up with to try to explain
right?
the world.
I mean, you're sitting there, you know the truth, and the rest of us are peons. So you're like, dude, I'm so powerful. I know all the shit. Like having that secret, the ultimate secret of the truth, is like, fuck yeah, I know everything.
Like, for real, I would just be like, I'd be like, oh, that guy got close.
It would actually be fun to sit and listen to shows like this and like, oh man, they're dangerously close.
Yeah, like, oh, they almost had it. Oh, they went the wrong direction.
They thought they sunk those Giants helmets on purpose and that we made them. Like, that kind of stuff is funny. But then you got a video like this. Now, I'm looking at it and I'm going, humans, we like to build crazy shit. So when I see something crazy that is, linked to giants, I have to go, is it possible? Sure. 1,000% maybe, right?
Yep.
But let me see what you think about this one. I haven't seen this one yet, and it was quite interesting, especially a certain detail about this this object.
If giants aren't real, who built this and why?
And I don't know if you noticed the big giant tool next to the door, but that's
Yeah.
what's used to pull the latch down. But I'm like,
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not gonna like me on this one.
yeah. Again, why have it so high? I guess if you're like, all right, lock that and then hide the tool, nobody's gonna be able to open it.
Well, there's that, but you gotta keep in mind too. Do we know what building that was in or
No.
where it was from? Okay,
I have no idea.
so a lot of these, the chat's more worried about what gas is made of. So, so anyway, a lot, you gotta keep in mind, a lot of these monarchies and stuff like that have been around for a long time, they believe they're truly chosen by God
Sure. Yeah,
or
absolutely.
whoever their religion believes is the creator. So they're all about grandeur.
Mhm.
They're all about, you want to have the people have a sense of
Yeah.
awe when they see you. So what would inspire more of a sense of awe than these giant doors swinging open and you walk in to see this person all gilded out with all the drip and shit, just sitting there acting all high and mighty. So I mean,
Yeah, I've never seen a castle with a regular sized door.
right.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
I'm not saying, like, I'm not like, right now, I'm sure anybody listening to this would be like, man, this guy just doesn't believe. I 100% believe giants existed. I really do. But I mean, some of this stuff that these people are trying to like pass off as information or a theory is
Sure.
just stuff that it's more easily explained stuff. Now, I mean, they could have planted that seed in us to be like, well, this is how they felt back then. But I mean, man,
And
I'm just saying.
It's a problem in the conspiracy world that I see a lot, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too. And that's jumping to conclusions based on preconceived belief. You know what I mean? If I believe in giants, I see a giant door with a latch up top. Fuck, that's for giants. Fucking A. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to say that. But you break things down and you go, yeah, of course, grandeur.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't.
I mean, you can easily see also, like you said, the tool, but you can easily see a bar. If you look at it close enough, you can see a bar running that's hooked to that latch down to the door, along the door. So, I mean.
And that, in reality, jumping to conclusions really kill. I mean, you could get somebody that is open-minded enough to look at something like that, and they might be open-minded to the prospect of there have been giants in the past, and then they see that, and then they break it down like you just did, and then they're out of the game. They're like, "Oh fuck, it's all bullshit," But there's a structure. I don't know where it is, but it has these giant steps, and they're like, "What's this for?" But then right next to these giant, like, they're almost like tiers, and they look like giant steps. And then right next to him is a normal sized staircase. And it's like, we're just jumping to conclusions that they were steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So things like that, like, it's fun to think like, oh yeah, that was a door for a giant. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? But it's fun for me to look at and speculate. But it's a perfect example of jumping to conclusions. I do want to mention in the chat really quick that I saw that Lance tried to buy one of our shirts, and it was $60 Australian. I got to see what I can do about that for our Australian friends. We might be able to work out something a little bit different. So let me explore some options. I know shipping internationally is a little expensive, but shirts shouldn't cost you $60. So we'll make something happen there. I also saw the comment about the fossil fuels. I don't believe in fossil fuels. I think oil is just, I mean, for lack of a better term right now, I think it's earth blood, and I think it regenerates. I don't think it's a finite.
I think it's a naturally occurring resource as well.
I don't think it's finite. Like they want us to believe, you know. I don't believe that for 1 second. Have you heard about the boneyard in Alaska?
A boneyard.
Oh my God. So check this out. In Alaska, this gentleman, he was just on the Joe Rogan Experience. You have to listen to the episode. It's super compelling. He has a bunch of property up in Alaska. He's a gold miner, or was.
Yeah.
And he's got this 5-acre parcel of land that he has found over we'll just say he's found hundreds of thousands of bone fragments, including full woolly mammoth tusks, in a 5-acre parcel of land. Saber-toothed tigers, woolly mammoths. What's the giant bear? I forget the bear.
Oh, the short-nosed cave? The short.
Yeah, the short-nosed bear. He's found. He won't admit whether or not he's found a human yet. Although he alluded to the fact that maybe he's found human skeletons. He doesn't want too many people going to the property, but he's got proof. There's been a small documentary done on it, and paleontologists can't believe that the bones are all in one place like that. It's almost like they were, I don't want to say dumped there, but like naturally somehow all ended up in this one central location. And that's just on the 5-acre parcel of land he has. There's plenty more land, and who knows what's up there. But they were finding animals. I forget what the specific horse was, but it's like a horse that was never supposed to be in Alaska. They found certain animals that weren't supposed to be there. Super interesting. I need to look more into it, but definitely check out that episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, because the amount of bones this man has found, and it goes way back in history, because he bought this mining company, and they had kept all the records, and I guess some of them went to the American History of Natural, the American whatever that the fucking natural. The history of the American Museum of Natural History, or whatever it is. But it's super insane. You have to see it. We're definitely going to have an episode about that, just talking about.
So what I'm thinking is, you said it's a mining company.
Yes. He stopped mining gold. Now he's just got this hobby of pulling out all these dinosaurs.
Right. But it was an active operation before he bought it, right?
It sounds like it, yes. And they were finding all sorts of bones.
So what it probably was, the reason it's all right there is that's probably where they designated to put the shit when they came across it.
They kept, according to him, they kept extensive records, and it sounds like this hasn't been excavated before. I'm
just saying, like, because
you have to check out the episode. Like, I'm doing a really shitty job explaining it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Compelling.
But the thing of it is, if you come across stuff like that and report it, or somebody's on site doing an inspection and it gets noticed, you get shut down.
Exactly, and he's mentioned that, and that's why he won't admit if he's ever found a human, or if you find dinosaurs on your land. The way he made it sound was that that's not a big deal. Like, it's a big deal.
It gets sketchy real fast, because if you talk about it too much, people will come steal them so they can sell them for millions of dollars.
Well, he's one of the mammoth tusks is worth like $480,000.
Yeah,
this guy's got millions of dollars. Somebody that came up there, and like I said, you guys have to listen to the episode, because I'm doing a shitty job of explaining it. But somebody was like, have you thought about insuring all this? And he's like, how much should I insure it for? And it was like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, no, he's sitting on enough stuff. If it's as much as he's saying it is, he's sitting on enough stuff that his family wouldn't have to work again for generations.
If you guys are really curious, you can go to Instagram and check out his page. It's I believe it's either Boneyard Alaska or the Boneyard Alaska. It's insane, and he wouldn't. Once you find a human remain, then everything changed. Then they shut you down,
It gets sketchy real fast.
or paleontological paleont whatever that word, you know what I'm saying, the dinosaur shit. I can't say it
Paleontology?
right. Yeah, if it's a paleontology, yes. If it has to do with paleontology, it's okay. But as soon as you break into the realm of archaeological and you find human human remains or um signs that humans were there, it changes everything and they shut you down. That's why, like, if you're building something anywhere and you find a human remain, done. That shit is shut down.
And you gotta wait for Native American, the nearest Native American tribe to confirm if it's one of theirs or not. You gotta wait for all kinds. Oh, it's a mess. It turns into a mess so fast. But what I'm saying is I guarantee you this company could have kept records.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I guarantee you what they were doing was, as they came across this stuff, they were just all dumping it in the spot
Mhm.
and just putting it there
It
and just
could
moving on.
it could very well be. However, if they're finding woolly mammoth tusks and shit, you're talking about some of these things are 12 feet long. You know, I don't think they're just going to pile them up and just go, yeah, don't worry about those. We're here for the gold.
Right. But I mean, you got to keep in
I don't
mind
know.
as well, though, man, that literally we were whacking, stacking so many buffalo back in the day, or bison, that there was literally like mazes taller than 2-story houses built
There
out
were
of just buffalo skulls.
there were buffalo skulls found there, or bison
Yeah.
skulls that were
So,
fucking huge.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm
Um,
just saying, like, the fact that these guys were just like, oh, let's just make a stack and just keep moving. Yeah, they're more worried about their gold because gold has like actual consistent
for sure.
value.
What I need you to do is I need you at some point, Matt, to watch that episode and then report back, and then we'll talk about it on the show.
Okay. Okay.
It's very, very, very compelling. But anyway, moving on. Let's move on.
Let's do it, man. Let's keep going. I'm loving this.
Are you familiar with the Alex Jones stuff that's going on?
Look, man,
Do you know Alex Jones, right?
I know of Alex Jones.
Okay. What are your thoughts on him, for one?
Batshit crazy.
Okay.
Doesn't
You
seem
know
like
that he blew he blew the doors off of Bohemian Grove and proved that it was real, and they really do worship Moloch.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm not saying he hasn't blown the doors off some stuff.
Sure.
But dude's
But
batshit crazy.
That's crazy. You know, he's being sued by, like, because he went hard on the Sandy.
He lost that.
Yeah, on the Sandy Hook stuff.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff that people haven't seen, and there's this clip that I thought was absolutely effing hilarious. And I just wanted to play it just for the humorous aspect, because this is totally an Alex Jones thing. And I root for Alex Jones because there's some things that he said about that whole situation where I was like, you know, he's not wrong. And he was just going off of information that he was told. But he has, you know, we'll say that he's got like a 90, he's got like a 90% accuracy rate when it comes to this crazy shit. He was talking about the medical shit that we just dealt with the pandemic. He was talking about that a decade ago, if not longer ago, that they were going to do some sort of health shit, and then it happened. So when it comes to Alex Jones, yes, he's crazy on a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff where there's kernels of things that of truth and things that have come out that have turned out to be true, where I'm like, all right, we can't discredit him completely like people do. But you got to see this clip. It's hilarious. I thought it was funny, and I was just like, yes, Alex, yes. Watch this.
One of the things you've been talking about on your show is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
Well, you mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
Come on, right?
I love that clip of Joe Rogan and those guys just losing their minds for one thing. But no, I mean, he's not wrong. Look, like, okay, let me rephrase this. Dude's batshit crazy. I'm not saying he's not right.
Oh no, he's absolutely crazy. He's nuts.
Like dude's nuts. But I mean, I'm not saying he's right, and he's not out there trying. He's out there trying to do the right thing from his perspective.
Yeah, and he is absolutely nuts. I will concede to that. I would love to talk to Alex Jones. I would love to just sit down, have a drink with him, and just see what's going through his mind.
Bro, he's got some stuff. I mean, but no, I mean, absolutely everybody. That's the problem. That is the biggest problem facing us right now. Is everyone knows. Everyone knows this stuff, and yet no one can or will do anything about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a good segue into this next. Have you heard of this Balenciaga bullshit?
Yes.
Does it piss you off as much as it pisses me off?
I mean, I get pretty fired up about it. But I mean, here's the thing. I feel like this one is too on the nose, and they're trying to get us distracted by this, and there's something else going on. Because this one's so on the nose that it's like, you're really trying to get our attention. Like it came out of nowhere and blew up.
It's like a distraction, right?
Yep.
The thing that bothers me the most is like people find out about this and they're like, "Oh my god!" And it's like they've been flaunting the shit in our faces for so long. This satanic, pedophilic bullshit, and people are just now I'm glad that people are starting to catch on, but it still isn't having the effect that I hoped it would have, which would be the whole world going, "Hold on, what the fuck is going on? How is this shit just slipping under our noses?"
So I think the one thing they didn't count on with the pandemic was the crown and the pedestal that they had, that everyone had celebrities on, would slip a little.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think they counted on that slipping. But what they also didn't do was rein in the celebrities during the pandemic. Like when people are like, I don't know how I'm going to feed my family because I'm not allowed to go to work because we're all in lockdowns and stuff. And then you have celebrities sitting in their multi-million-dollar mansions singing Imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck around. Bro, control your people a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of celebrities are coming unhinged. But Kim Kardashian was involved with Balenciaga, Kanye West. And I'm not wearing any Balenciaga shit no matter what anyway, because I don't have that kind of money.
Right.
But it just bothers the shit out of me knowing that this kind of stuff was happening. And before it blew up, it's not like it was the first time. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
That shit has been happening forever. And I'm glad that people are starting to find out that, hey, man, there's some weird shit going on. It's too weird and they blamed the photographer. They're like, oh, yeah, he's weird. When you're talking about the books in the background of the pictures are like a bunch of pedophile stuff. And there was government or court documents about child porn and shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. But this is a clip that creeped me the hell out. And I just ran across it just by accident. And I had to put it on here just to say, they're just like, oh, that was just like a mistake. That one thing was a mistake.
Sure,
this is the kind of creepy shit that happens in these high level fucking fashion and high level elite like only rich people can afford this shit. So this is the type of shit that they have in their culture of a lot of money. Look at this bullshit.
What's in your bag?
In my bag, like stuff for baby.
This is like, should we do a what's in your bag? Yeah, can we do a what's in the bag, please? Should I hold it for you and you can take the things out?
Excuse me. Yeah. Look, there's like when she starts to cry, like then when she's gonna pee, I don't know. Then when she's boring,
she's boring.
Yeah, everything possible.
First of all, wasn't that a baby doll?
That was a little African-American baby doll branded in Balenciaga.
Okay.
With the carrier branded in Balenciaga, the red bag branded in Balenciaga, and on the inside of it had a bunch of baby stuff that had little blood droplets all over it. What kind of sick shit? Like, it bothers me so much, especially as a father now. It bothered me before I was a father because I knew all this weird shit was going on. But now that I'm a father and I see this kind of shit, I'm like, who in their fucking right mind would even allow products like this?
But keep in mind the culture that they are encouraging
Fuck.
more and more is that children don't matter. Children are expendable until a gun is involved, and then they matter a lot. But any other time, children don't matter. Like a child, they're like, there's politicians and people in the streets that feel like 3 years old is still an okay time to terminate your child because they're still not a child
That
in their
is
mind.
absolutely insane to me.
Is that not nuts?
Oh, it's absolutely
like the culture they are inspiring.
It's some satanic shit, if you
Yeah,
ask
absolutely.
me.
Well,
Satanic
it's
shit.
just it's monstrous
It
because
absolutely.
they don't want human life to be valued, except for when it fits their narrative.
Yeah, it's really disgusting, is what it is. For those of you in the chat, I saw that Dutch guys, what's up, buddy? Dutch is in the house. I saw you ask about what the hell is going on here. Talking Mopars or talking Mopars, talking paranormal merchandise. I'm posting the Amazon link to the merchandise in the comments for those of you interested. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it really disgusts me, the things that we allow. But like you said, there's like a double standard for this shit, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like,
see, like the problem is they have created, and see, now we're getting a little further into the political side of things than I want to, but the problem is they have created this culture of us against them,
yeah,
or them against us, and the culture they're encouraging is no other life matters, no other truth matters than what you feel is the truth and what you do with your own life. It is all about self-care. It is all about self-love. It's all about this stuff. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to take care of yourself. Yes, absolutely take care of yourself. Find your happy spot. But at the same time, your self-love and your self-care does not go above and beyond the needs and basic rights of other groups of people.
yeah, 100%.
Like in Tennessee. Did you hear about the new law that Tennessee just passed?
Oh God, no.
Oh, it's a fantastic law.
Oh,
If a drunk driver hits someone and kills them, and they're a parent, the drunk driver is on the hook to pay child support.
oh, that's amazing.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
That's amazing. Good.
That actually went into effect this weekend.
Wow.
But I like that robust. But I mean, so that's the problem though. Like we're the I'm trying to think. I don't want to piss people off because here's the thing. Chris, you know me. I'm one of the most accepting individuals anybody could meet.
100%.
Like I don't care what you're about or anything. To a certain point, we all know my lines. But I mean, if you want to do certain things, cool. That's on you. That's between you and your significant other within your home, or even in a parked car somewhere. I don't really care. What bothers me is, and a lot of people think I blindly support the United States. I do not love America as she is. I love America for what she could be.
100%.
And that's the problem is they've created this America sucks, but everyone should come here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it makes no sense. And the fact I can tell you right now, the fact that we had a foreign dignitary in our House of Representatives demanding we send them more money, more billions of dollars, while their flag was flown in our House of Representatives is appalling.
Yeah, they're walking all over us.
It's appalling. Like we are, like in all honesty, we are in. Like there is no more. Oh, it's coming. No, we're there, guys.
Yeah, it's without sounding like a militia, I'm just like, when are we gonna finally take our country back? Because it's getting out of hand. It really is getting out of hand.
They've had it for 50 years.
Yeah, it's if real patriots were out burning cities down and getting crazy, like we'd be the demons. Oh, but when the you know what I'm saying,
bro. Like,
no,
you had the perfect example. Like you brought up the perfect example. We went through a summer of cities being burned to the ground, and it was applauded.
Mhm.
Their home base got walked into by people they didn't want there,
Mhm.
and it's worse than 9/11 for them.
Yeah. It was the biggest travesty that ever happened in America. Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
And these are just people, regardless of what, a lot of those people were were under the belief that we were being screwed over as Americans. And I believe we were, but that's beside the point. They were marching on the Capitol for patriotic reasons. You know what I mean? Not because this conversation could go.
Oh yeah, we're gonna dial it back real fast, but
let's go ahead.
But
Let's
hold on,
cut
I'm
it
gonna
here.
put this out there real fast. Scott, the revolution is not happening. We can say it is, but if it was, voting would have gone a lot different in this midterm. Faking or not faking, a lot more shit would have changed in this time. Like if it was really going to happen, it already would have been started happening. So I think we're this close to the point of no return, and I don't think everybody thinks somebody else is going to step up and do it. It's kind of like somebody watching. It's kind of like when people record someone drowning in a river.
Yeah.
They all have the ability to swim. They all have the ability to help them, but they all think someone else is going to come do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they just keep recording and watching. Right now, we're all just sitting back watching, waiting for that magical someone to come do it.
Yeah, no, it's you're absolutely right. It just the insanity is going to get to a level where hopefully, I mean, knock on wood, I hope it gets to the point where people have the epiphany that, oh, we're doing it all wrong. You know what I mean? It's so insane. The level we've gotten to is so insane. And the only saving grace is that when like shit like the Balenciaga stuff happens, I get to see people go, whoa, whoa. And there's people that wake up when they see that kind of shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, I love the fact that people are starting to wake up to things. And, you know, the more people that wake up, you know, I know a few people on the left that finally have been like, oh man, I was wrong. And I'm like, whoa, huh? You know, but, you know, to save us from getting further down the rabbit hole of political shit, we'll move on to the next video. But I did see Aspen. He mentioned that if you Google translate Latin to English, Balenciaga is translated to Baal is the king. And it is Satanist language. He's absolutely right. And it's funny he said that because I believe that this video will demonstrate something like that. Aspen, I had that queued up. I saw you say that in the chat, and I was like, well, buddy, I got something for you. And yes,
okay.
So when I see that shit, when I see it, fucking infuriates me because they are just rubbing it in our faces, knowing that we're just not going to do shit about it. It's just, it makes me sick. And then, real quick, let's play this next clip because this, I don't care who you are. If you're in a position of power, you sure as fuck don't
Chris is worried about me getting on a soapbox now, so he's just like, let's get through these clips.
Well, this is kind of political too. I'm trying to run through this shit. This really pissed me off because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're whoever the fuck you are, whatever side of the fence you're on. You should not be joking about shit like this.
We are not defunding the police.
And are there people who, in the Democratic Party, who want to defund the president?
Are there people in the Republican Party who think we're sucking the blood out of kids?
I'm not sure. Are there people in the Democratic Party who want to...
Mr. President, Speaker Pelosi made the right choice.
You don't say shit like that because people are going to start thinking like, fucking, what did you see the Secret Service guy? He's like, oh, fuck.
He's like, oh, God. You know,
where the fuck is everybody? We got to get this guy inside.
I guarantee you, like, the Secret Service used to be like, yeah, I got presidential duty. And now they're like, damn it, I got presidential duty.
Fuck. It's a complete train wreck. It really is. Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about that kind of shit, because you're just perpetuating the shit you're trying to say that is untrue.
I wish I would have saved it, but I saw a meme that had like all the different Bidens that they've been using, and there's a Democratic Party rolling out new Bidens like it's an iPhone.
Man, when Biden became president, I knew it was going to be a shit show just based on the shit he was saying when he was on the trail, when he was on the campaign trail.
What campaign trail? He was in his basement the whole time. He didn't campaign.
He came out once. Every time he came out, he said some shit.
He came out for debates, but he never campaigned.
He had a couple campaign, not like rallies, but he was. I wouldn't call it a campaign trail. I'll take that back. But he did have a couple speeches where it was like, is he reading? He can't be reading this shit. You could tell when he stopped reading the shit and started going off the cuff, and it was like train fucking derailed immediately. And it was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And when people were actually asking him, Mr. Vice President, people are saying that you're mentally deteriorating. And he's like, well, it's like, oh my God.
Let me tell you about my hairy legs.
Like, it honestly, it's been hilarious. Like, obviously I'm sad for the country, but damn, the guy cannot stop fucking up. Like, it's comical. But let's what else we got here? Where are we at? I think that was it for. Okay, now I think we're getting into the crazy shit now. Okay, you ready, Matt?
I was born ready.
Oh, Lance is gone. See you, Lance. I don't know if you're still around, but
oh, bye, Lance. Where'd you go?
Yeah. He had some people come over. He said, sorry, guys, just got visitors and have to bail early this week.
Make them watch.
I know. He's like, he was getting into it too. All right. I think this is the crazy shit. Let's see here. I could be wrong.
Honestly, too scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal. I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Michael Jordan. What about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
Okay, I remember, or I forgot that I had put that clip up there because I did want to say one more thing, and it's funny because Kanye is being burned at the stake right now, and he's said some crazy shit. He's been driven.
Full Kanye.
And never go full Kanye for sure. The man's been driven to insanity. I think he has been involved in some shit, and he realized, oh shit, I'm going down a very dark hole. And when you get down to the bottom of that pit, there is no getting out of it. And I think being with the Kardashians has taught him a lesson. And just being in the circles that he's been in has taught him a lesson.
That anybody that's ever been with a Kardashian hates their life?
I think they're witches. I think they're evil witches.
I think their doctors are witches that did all that plastic surgery.
Well, did you see there was like a clip of Kim Kardashian, and it had to do with Marilyn Monroe. They gave her some Marilyn Monroe hair, and she was like getting all giddy about it, talking about voodoo rituals with it. And I was like, what?
Oh shit. No,
I wish I had saved that shit. There's something off about them. You know, they took Bruce Jenner, an American male athlete, and fucking and now it's Caitlyn, or she is Caitlyn. And anything that those women touch turns to shit. It's bad. But I think Kanye was driven to insanity, and I think he started speaking the truth about some things. And he was talking in an interview once about his doctors trying to prescribe him like lithium or something, like a crazy antipsychotic or whatever. And he said that he did some research and that the amount that they were trying to give him would have killed him. And then he said, yeah, it would have been easy to say, oh yeah, you know, oops, he wasn't right in the head and he offed himself.
Heath Ledger,
Like,
man.
they want Kanye gone. Believe that. They want him gone. As crazy as he sounds, and I think he's doing himself
missing, isn't he?
probably. I know he went on the Alex Jones show recently in a full mask.
I thought somebody said him and Brittany were missing.
Maybe so. All I know is that you get into those circles and you start speaking out, and then all of a sudden you're crazy, and all of a sudden, all this weird shit starts happening, and you're painted as this lunatic. And he said right there, he sacrificed his mom. You know what I mean? And people in Hollywood are missing. I think he's treading that line, because I think if he said the right shit, I think they would off him real quick. But I think they're banking on the fact that he's sounding so crazy that everybody thinks Kanye is crazy. But if you listen to some of the shit he says, it's like he's not too far off base there. The problem is he's gone so far crazy that people just, discredit him immediately. But I don't know. When you listen to Kanye talk, dissect it, and there's some things in there. It's like, he's not wrong. He's definitely been in some circles, and he has had a lot of money, and they shut his bank accounts down. As soon as he started talking about those three-letter word those three-letter word people, like everything went to shit for him real quick.
But here's the problem with that. Like, that should scare the shit. Like, it should have scared the shit out of everybody a long time ago, when they can just, if they all of a sudden decide you've committed some kind of crime, they can just freeze your bank accounts.
Yeah. Freeze your money. They can freeze it. Sorry, no more.
So what the precedent is that they've set and established that they're willing to do is that if you piss them off, they'll just freeze your money until you decide to get back in line with them. That's 100%. Like, I mean, I know I use a debit card, but I mean, guys, that's got to be some scary shit for everybody. Is we no longer hold cash. Like, we don't get paychecks. When's the last time you were given a paycheck to take to the bank in cash?
Oh my God, never. Like, when I first met my wife, this was 15 years ago. I cashed my checks. I had cash. My paycheck was in my wallet.
Yep.
And for very good reason. Shit like that. They can freeze your shit, and they could make it disappear one day.
Yep.
And they go, oops.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing a lot of people don't think about, and that's a big thing a lot of people don't think about is what was one of the contributing factors to the stock market crash for the Great Depression. The market got low, and everyone panicked and pulled their money out of the bank. Guess what, guys? The bank uses your money to pay. Like, every loan a bank hands out is your money. That's your money.
100%.
For that loan. So every loan that you see your bank with their name on it, this project funded by or loaned by so and so. Guess what? You're paying for that. That's your money.
Yeah.
That's not the bank's money. That's your money.
Yeah.
And the bank just has insurance on your money to cover it back.
If you have $100,000 cash in your bank account, go to your bank and try to withdraw that in cash.
Oh, they'll panic. They'll panic straight out. They will shit themselves.
I went for 25 grand, and they're like, questioning me, and I was like, doesn't matter what I'm using it for. It's my money. Thank you.
Yeah, it's none of your business. Like, but I mean, here's the thing though that you got to keep in mind with my area. Like, you have a similar thing in your area with you being that close to Silicon Valley and everything. I live in the land of Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
There are some folks walking in cashing $1 million bonus checks at certain times of the year and putting it in the bank, because you got to keep in mind. And here's something that a lot of people around here don't know that I know, and some people know. Arvest, the main bank in this area, like 10 to 13. It's like 10 to 13% of it is owned by Walmart.
Oh wow!
Like, a good chunk of it is owned by the entity of Walmart. That's why the Walmarts around here have Arvest in them.
Interesting. I never knew that.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole banking system, man. God. I've heard some horror stories about people trying to withdraw their cash. I know that some shit went down in China. Some shit went down in China where their banks were closing up and people were trying to get their money and they had tanks and they're like, nope.
That's why if the market ever has a bad day, banks close. They quietly close, but banks close.
Yeah, that's so scary. Fuck. Yeah, that's nuts. God forbid you're late on a payment on something, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, because here's the thing. They got to have that money to keep for the people who they're taking it from. So if they're spending their money. Yeah. Like the whole banking and debit card system, guys, we're spending made up money.
100%. Anytime I buy something with my card and there's no cash involved, I'm just like, God, this is so like, I don't know. I feel like I'm frauding somebody, but at the same time getting frauded in the back end.
We're absolutely getting shafted. Because think about it. You are paying them for these checking accounts. Like you have to pay your for services. And they're using your fucking money.
Yeah.
You're paying them to let them use your money.
Oh, man. What a joke. What a joke. Insane.
And then they have the bullshit overdraft charges.
Yeah.
Like,
the insane overdraft charges.
Like you are using my money to fund a building project across town. You didn't ask me if you could use my money. You just used it.
Yeah, it's the whole banking thing is a scheme. So
and don't even get me started on insurance. Don't even get me started on insurance. Don't even fucking get me started. It's something we pay every month for our whole goddamn life, and we get penalized for using it.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
No.
There's a law that insurance companies cannot be in debt.
Oh, really?
So if they have to pay out, that's why they raise rates. Also, if you notice, if there's a large natural disaster somewhere in the country, whoever is the most prominent insurer in that area, guess what? Oh, we have a rate increase coming up for all of our customers. Because there's a law that says insurance companies cannot legally be in debt.
That's crazy. Yeah, we're
I apologize for getting on my soapboxes this evening, but we've hit some.
No, this whole way of life is it's like designed to screw us over and make us think that we're getting a good deal.
Bro, we are a tax farm. Like we are not a free country. We are just a tax farm. They let us have some cool shit, but we're a tax farm.
100%. Did you know, Matt, that the Earth narrowly escaped an apocalypse?
Which time?
2012. And I'm not talking about the Mayans, but it's interesting that this next clip,
I swear to God, Chris, if you're on board for the Mayans, I'm going to fly to Washington.
Check this out, though. I never knew about this. And one of our listeners, he's a friend of mine. His name's Mike. Shout out to Mike. He sent me this, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. I haven't done any research on it, but it sounds pretty legit. Check this out.
All right, let's do it.
July 23rd, 2012. Look that up. Read up on it. On July 23rd, we had not one, not two, but three CMEs coming straight at Earth in a line, 3 of them in a row. The perfect storm. Now, what's the CME? It's a corona mass ejection. And it's a ball of plasma that's coming at Earth. And they generally travel just below light speed. They'll cover 93 million miles in 14 hours or less. Well, these 3 CMEs come hurling in at us. And they came 93 million miles away. And they were going to hit us dead center. Then we have a word we use in science when we can't explain something. Phenomenon. Something bumped them, but they passed so close when they went by. They were between us and the moon. They were only 110,000 miles away.
That's extremely close when you're talking about these things.
When they come from 93 million miles away and they pass by only 110,000 miles, something bumped these things.
You were given an explanation recently. Can you talk about that, of what possibly, how we avoided this catastrophe?
In a panel I was on recently for Antarctica, Linda Moulton Howe said she had some whistleblowers that said there was a big ship out there that deflected the things. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But sounds good to me. All I know is something caused these things to deflect right at the last minute. And how serious was this? This story wasn't released until 2 years after the event. It happened in 2012. It wasn't until 2014 that the press even talked about it. But if you do the math, this is really interesting. If those 3 CMEs hit on July 23rd, 6 months later, probably the last human being would have died on the planet, because everything would have been gone, and sun's blotted out. And that last person would have died probably on December 21st, 2012. The Mayans were right. We should have died. Something intervened, something, I don't know what. But that CME event did occur. It's not BS. It really happened. Verified by NOAA, NASA, and about a dozen other countries that saw it. It was by
I don't know what the hell that was.
So whoever's doing that screen recording got a text message.
Yeah, it could have been bad. Yeah, what was it? A corona or coronal mass ejection? Corona mass ejection?
Something like that.
Interesting. I'd never heard about that. So I need to do some research on it, but
So he said exactly what I immediately thought of is either there was a ship or our planet's actually shielded. I'm more prone to think that our planet's shielded because for some reason everybody that comes by here has a reason to be interested in us. I think it's because we're fascinating because our oxygen is the air we breathe is poisonous and we're known as like fire breathers or something around the universe. I mean, because you got to think about it, our air literally is so toxic it ages us. That's what ages us is the air we're in.
yeah. Or, we got the firmament. The firmament above the earth could have. We're gonna get into the firmament in a little bit. We got some firmament videos. But my buddy sent me that, and I was like, "That's worth playing on the show," because
Dude,
it's
that's
a topic.
super interesting.
It's a topic that I need to do some more research on. I think we both should, and see what we can come up with, and probably make it a show of its own. Some of these topics that we just randomly, talk about definitely could be topics of their own, and of course, we'll have to go through and dissect these, and see what we can mine from these episodes, because there's definitely been some situations where things have been brought up, like the Dietlef Pass incident. That one's episode waiting to happen, and this next topic here is definitely an episode that I'd like to get into. And my wife Bristy made a great suggestion for us, Matt. She said, what if you guys took a topic and you draw straws or whatever, and you have to pick a side, or you're assigned a side, whether you believe that side or not. You just have to do the research from that angle of it, and then we both present our sides of the one topic.
Okay.
Even if I say it's a conspiracy, and even if you don't buy into it, but you have to talk about why it could be true, and then I have to talk about why it's probably bullshit, even if we don't believe that. I think that would be fun. So I was like, good job,
dude. I'm down for that. That'd be that'd be so much fun. She better tune in. I swear to God, she better.
I know, right? Peckerwood says coronal mass ejections. I haven't had one of those in a minute because I'm married. Anyway, let's bring up these next two videos are definitely a topic I'd like to get into, and we kind of brushed on it at the beginning of the show. Let's check these out.
Man, my head hurts just thinking about all this, and I've been kind of patiently waiting to say something about this just because I was unsure. I was like, I don't know. But do dinosaurs even really exist? Because it's been admitted even that these are just basically an artist's rendition, just like the globe and all that. They'll find like one tooth and one bone, and they're like, oh yeah, this is what it looked like. And it just sounds ridiculous when you actually think about it. In Genesis 1:26, it talks about when God made man in his own image, and then it talks about all of his creatures that he created. But it says that the man would have dominion over all these creatures, not the dinosaurs. Now check this out. Who discovered the first dinosaur fossil? It's a bigger question than you think. In 1677, Robert Plot is credited with discovering the first dinosaur bone, but his best guess as to what it belonged to was a giant human. Now think about that. They're finding these giant bones, and the Bible talks about how there were giants in the earth before the flood and after, but yet they're trying to hide the fact that there were giants to discredit the Bible and say, oh no, they're just dinosaurs. Now just think to yourself for a minute, what would be the purpose of these enormous steps for a normal sized person? I mean, look at those steps. They're taller than these people. I mean, think about it. And what, all this is just, what, they just made that up? I mean, look at this. It's like they're on a throne and they're being worshipped as a god. And again, look, wiping this giant foot. What's the purpose of drawing this or sculpting it? And again, look at this. I mean, what would be the point in drawing something like this if it was just made up fairy tales? And check this out. This is some of old papers. Giant skeleton unearthed. Another old paper, Austin, Texas. I think that says 1919. Giant skeleton, 18 feet tall. Again, trace of giants found in desert. Look at that thing. And again. Look at that thing. And I think you're getting the point by now, but point being is that the father of lies, the god of this world, Satan, the devil, is always trying to use his lies to cover up the truth about God's word. And I'll just end with this, Luke 8:17, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So the truth is going to come out. Everything will be made known. Okay, this will not be hid.
I will say that a lot of these pictures of giant skeletons,
really bad Photoshop.
Really bad photoshops. They've been proved. There was one guy admitted that it was like a project for his class to like create a crazy archaeological photo. So he's like, "Oh, I'll just make a giant skeleton," and it looked super convincing. Like you could have fooled me 1,000,000 times, had he not admitted it. But it's still worth noting that aside from the pictures of the archaeological pictures, there are cave paintings, drawings, hieroglyphics, and carvings that show giant people. Now, is it figuratively or is it literally that they were that big? We don't know. But the whole dinosaur human skeleton thing, it's intriguing to me because I really never gave that angle much thought. I've also never dug up a T-Rex skull or a giant human femur for that matter, but
It's a fair point. Man, I think I think dinosaurs did exist. I think they did. Do I think they use a lot of them to cover up a giant skeleton find? Yes.
You think so?
Yep.
So you think we have unearthed giant human skeletons? I mean, I do. And said, "Oh no, those are dinosaurs."
Wait, Peckerwood, what do you mean? Why would you? Oh, the carvings. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I was like, what do you mean? Why would you?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's right. I mean, right. No, I agree there. What I'm saying is I think they both existed.
I think a lot of descriptions and stuff that we've heard throughout history, like, could just be, and I think we talked about this on the show, maybe the ancient people just didn't know how to accurately describe what they were seeing. You know what I mean? Like, what's a good example of that? Thunderbird, Native American. That could have easily been a flying machine by a more advanced civilization on the other side of the world. I don't know. Or it could be a giant bird. I mean, history is so open to interpretation. I wish we had a more accurate I don't know, log of what actually happened. But this next video is another dinosaurs are not real. That was really quick and I can't pause it. So
one more time.
One more time.
I didn't realize that all the ones out there were fakes.
I don't think there's a real dinosaur skeleton displayed anywhere, like a complete dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah.
I don't know the accuracy of the statement that only government paleontologists, government assigned paleontologists are allowed to view real dinosaur bones.
Well, I don't know about that because because you got scientists, paleontologists out on digs all the time.
Sure.
They're not all government. They're not definitely not all government funded.
Definitely not all government funded, but they're usually funded by universities, and some universities are involved in some
most
nefarious shit.
A lot of paleontologists actually have to come up with their own funding.
I would like to someday. We're gonna have and now this is still the early days of this show, folks. Someday we're gonna have some guests, and I'm gonna try my damnedest to bring on some high profile guests. I would love to get a paleontologist on, to pick their brain a little bit and ask them these questions. Have you guys ever found a full? I want to get some questions, get some answers from a real paleontologist. I think that would be cool.
If you can get Dr. Alan Grant, I'll know we made it.
Holy shit! Right? I'm sure I can get Ian Malcolm on. Dr. Ian Malcolm. I'm sure.
Oh man. I'm gonna let you know right now, I would shit myself if I logged in to come do this show and Jeff Goldblum sitting here like, hey,
You do have dinosaurs on this tour, right? I love Dr. Ian Malcolm was hilarious in the first Jurassic Park. He's actually been funny in all of them, but
bro, I'm just saying his chaos theory attempt to pick up the blonde-headed paleontologist, I was like, holy shit, that's working.
Yeah.
I walked around with a plastic cup full of water forever.
You're looking for the girls with a little bit of hair on their hands.
Like, hey.
I think we're gonna get into the space is fake or fake moon landings or flat Earth now. Let's see. Let's see what we got. This is where the show is going to take a drastic turn for the crazy.
The Earth's curvature. According to the heliocentric Earth model, the Earth is 24,000 miles in circumference. And if one were standing at sea level, they should only be able to see less than 3 miles before the surface of the Earth curves out of view. But this has been proven to be false for centuries, from the Bedford Level experiments of 1838 to modern photography. This photograph of Chicago was taken almost 60 miles away from Grand Mere State Park in Michigan. On a spherical Earth, this would be impossible. Using the Pythagorean theorem and the current dimensions of the Earth, the top of the tallest skyscraper should be 900 feet below the observable horizon. Local news explained this anomaly by claiming the image was a mirage.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage.
They claimed that somehow light refraction and perfect weather conditions are responsible for creating a photorealistic mirage of the Chicago skyline, appearing to sit on the flat horizon from almost 60 miles away.
Okay, so this plays perfectly into what I've always been talking about.
Okay.
The Earth is bigger than we're told and taught. See, I'm not full on ready to sign on to the flat Earth thing, but I am fully convinced that the planet we live on is bigger than we're taught.
I could subscribe to that very easily.
Because what they're saying is it shouldn't be viewable due to X amount of miles and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But we're bigger than that.
No, but all you have to do, if you expanded the Earth, then the math would change.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because Neil deGrasse Tyson, there's videos like the Red Bull video of the guy who jumps from space. Oh, you can see the curvature. You can see the curvature. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson and the people that say, oh, you can see the curvature in a plane. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson says it's all bullshit because you're not high enough to see the curvature.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I haven't done the math because I'm not quite that smart. But I think it lends into your theory that the Earth is bigger because you should be able to see a curvature. You know what I mean? Like if based on their math alone, you should be able to see or not, or in that case, not see the city of Chicago, but you can. So the only way to explain that, aside from their crazy light reflection mirage bullshit, is the Earth has to be bigger. And that, when Neil deGrasse Tyson says you have to be, X amount high to be able to see the curvature, I mean, you would think that from the upper levels of our atmosphere, you should absolutely be able to see the curvature of this Earth.
But if you have to be X mile, I'm telling you, the planet is bigger than we're taught. We're purposely taught the wrong proportions of things as far as land mass goes, so that we don't know that we have as much room. Like, because what they want us to think is we have a finite amount of space with a finite amount of resources, and they're running out. So we got to have lower birth rates. We got to have wars to claim these resources. We got to have this. We got to have that. We've got to conserve. We got to do everything like so, just so that we stay in check, so that we stay in the what's what I'm looking for here, status quo. So that we keep the status quo, because once we realize there's a lot more of these things, like let's look at this just economically. If we found out tomorrow that the planet was, say, even 3 times, I'm only going to say 3 times bigger than we've ever been taught, that there's 3 times the amount of space, open space left than we've ever been taught, what do you think would happen to the global economy? 3 times the amount of resources that we've ever been taught. What do you think would happen to the global economy? It would free fall. Anybody that's had any sort of power, as for any amount of time, they'd be worthless. People would literally communities would strike out to claim their own piece of land, to start their own country.
If I'm being 100% honest, I'm starting to do research into not just the Earth being bigger than what we thought, but other land being out there that we're not told about.
Oh, I'm on board for that. Like, I am more and more on board that the 2 Arctic poles are. I'm more on board for those being ice walls than actual ice shelves.
Yeah, it's funny when you listen to people debunking the flat Earth theory, because on the surface of it, you think flat Earth and you think of an image from space and you think of a fucking floating pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that at all. If I had to be real and say, okay, well, what do you really think? If it's not a globe, what is it? If it's not a globe, what is it? I'll say that again. If it's not a globe, I honestly think we were created by God, and I think that this is an infinite plane, and that space isn't real, and that aliens don't exist. They're not from out there. They're actually from this plane, from somewhere else, another piece of land. But I don't know, because I can't prove either way. I just have to go based on the research, and I haven't done enough research yet. This is that's a lifelong dedication to research that I just don't have time for. But little clips and videos and documentaries and shit that I watch, like there's a couple interesting flat Earth. If you're on the fence, or if you just want to hear something that you could try to debunk, I would love for people to go watch a documentary called Level, and then The Next Level. Definitely interesting, definitely mind bending. I still am not 100% subscribed to flat Earth or Earth being a plane, but I'm definitely leaning towards, I think that there's more land out there that we don't know about. And because I think one of these clips I grabbed shows. Now, I question why this would even be a thing. Why NASA would have to fake multiple pictures of the Earth from space. If you're up there, take a picture and show us what it looks like. As it is, no bullshit Photoshop shit. Just show me the Earth. All you have to do is show us one real picture. And go, that's what it looks like. It's not as colorful as you thought, huh? It's like, fuck. And we've talked about this before. And some of these pictures from NASA that are alleged to have been taken from the International Space Station, the continents are different sizes. It's like, what are we doing here? But let's get into some more of these videos because I think one of them gets into that.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
How is it that we don't have endless pictures of this world from space at this point in time? How is it that an International Space Station astronaut hasn't bothered to poke a camera out the window to show us the 15 or 20,000 satellites orbiting the planet? There is no image of a satellite in space doing what satellites supposedly do. But let's get back to the Earth image for a minute. Apollo 16, Hasselblad, out the window of a capsule in space, took a picture of Earth. Apollo 17, same thing. They stated the time they did that. 2002, the supposed blue marble. We can prove beyond argument that each of those is faked. With the two from the Apollo missions, you compare them, the land masses are wrong. They don't match the mapping geodetic survey data. We can show clouds were cloned, that these are constructed images. In the case of Apollo 17, they gave us the time the image was snapped. In the modern age, someone just rolled the clock forward to show the wrong portion of the Earth was lit. We jump up to the 2002 blue marble, we can tell you the damn name of the artist who made the image and the quote that he is attributed, something to the effect of, NASA gave me data so I made this image in the way I thought Earth should look. And again, the clone cloud problem.
NASA's Rob Simon made this, and it had wide appeal too. For example, it ended up as the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know until I bought an iPhone and turned it on and kind of did a little happy dance.
Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
To us, the really cool thing was the data set. Up until that point, there was no realistic color map of the globe anywhere. It is photoshopped, but it has to be.
Then
there was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces.
You've never seen a real image of this world from space. Why is that? You've never seen a real image of anything from space. You've never seen a real footage of a satellite. When you put all this other deductive logic around what we're being told, when we logically go at these things, we find problem after problem after problem. Using deductive reasoning, we can understand that we've been lied to.
Well, shit.
You know, let's keep this fun train moving. We're already an hour and a half in, and we've got a handful of videos left. The last two are kind of long. So we'll get through these, and then we'll talk about it.
What's up, guys? Jake here. Last week, I posted a video called Chinese Space Station Exposed. In that video, I showed you guys that China now has a fake space station, and they are producing some terrible, low-quality, fake space videos. Now, it didn't take long for the comments section to fill up with a bunch of people pointing out the exact same anomaly over and over again. And when I went back and looked at it, it's a perfect example of space fakery. Now, I want us to all take a close look at this scene. Here we see a Chinese astronaut strapped to the wall, pretending to be floating around in outer space in zero gravity. Now, what everyone seemed to notice, and I missed the first time I watched this video, was these bags off to the right. You see these bags over here, these objects? Why aren't they floating? Are they glued down? Are they tied down? Seems to me that these objects over here, whatever they are, should be floating around, right? Now, the strangest thing I found, and I had to look real close, is at the end of that white rope tie, or whatever it is, on that blue bag, you can see a CGI glitch that happens. Some sort of weird CGI glitch anomaly happens at the end of that white rope tie, and I can't make any other sense of it other than it being some sort of editing mistake. Some sort of CGI glitch editing mistake that they were just too lazy to go back and fix. It seems they don't care if their stuff looks low quality. They don't care if their stuff looks fake as funk. That's because people are so damn indoctrinated and brainwashed, they will believe anything. But for those of us still paying attention, CGI glitch and the logical matter of the fact that these bags aren't floating away is 100% a perfect debunk of this chintzy, chinky, fake space station. This has been just another opinion from Jake the Asshole. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see all you lovely assholes next time. Peace.
Let me just say that I did not watch that video all the way to the end, and that was very racist. And I do not agree with what that guy said.
Damn it, Chris. I'm a white dude on this show. You're fine. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be the one they come after.
My God. The balls on that guy.
First of all, I have a personal problem with people that call themselves an asshole. Like, look, man. Like, we get it. You're probably a bit of a dick, but you're like, oh, I'm just such an asshole. Ha ha ha. Fuck
then
off.
You're really not. You're really not.
You're
trying to be. You're trying to be.
You're the first person that's going to cry as soon as someone comes at you.
Wow, that was absolutely uncalled for on that guy's part. However, I will say this: that's not the only. And I don't have very. I don't know if I have any
racist video you're
ones.
playing tonight.
Oh, this is gonna go down. Oh man. Oh fuck! If that doesn't get me canceled. That's not the only space station video. Not just Chinese. There's a lot of international space station videos that show CGI glitches. It's crazy, or green screen shit. It's nuts. But then you okay, could have just been some camera shit. But then you have people that have actually been to the moon, allegedly, that say things like this.
And I am Uncle Coney tonight.
Uncle Coney.
Let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. Because there's no gravity. And I'm a diver, a scuba diver, and when you get down underneath the water, you're floating.
Zoe, what do you say?
Thank you.
You are very, very welcome.
I'm sorry, Jay.
No,
I'm sorry.
I can see how that would affect your Christmas.
I made that whole thing up.
What?
I'm sorry. I guess I just wanted to seem interesting. I guess there's a real danger of that on this show.
The pressure.
Well, yeah, people come out and they've run out of anecdotes, and they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong? You mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital.
wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Gentlemen. Mr. Cybro.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Cybro, you do not deserve answers.
Neil Armstrong, do you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story. Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah.
So how uncomfortable Jay Leno got when Jim Carrey brought that up cracks me up. Also, who's letting Buzz Aldrin still be around children?
First of all, Buzz Aldrin just proved to me that he could be a great president. My God, him and Joe Biden. Could you imagine those two just sitting on a fucking porch with two rocking chairs and a couple pipes? Like, my God, bullshit they would spew.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Hi, I'm Joe Biden with my vice president Buzz Aldrin. we're gonna build America back.
He said something interesting, and I didn't know this about Buzz Aldrin, but he talked about being a scuba diver. Now, there has been videos of spacewalks where people have been like, what the fuck are those? And they're little water bubbles, or that look like little air bubbles, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, what if they were just in that giant dive pool with a green screen? And I cannot find the clip, but there is a clip of the training that astronauts do where they're underwater with their space equipment or whatever, and there's a green screen behind them.
Well, did you catch where Buzz said he wasn't an astronaut, he was a scuba diver?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that clip, did you see where he said that?
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, I wonder if he just admitted it right there. Buzz Aldrin he said some shit where it's like, do you know what you're saying? You're basically saying you didn't go. And the fact that the press conference, when they all got back, they were all weird about it. I imagine that they got pulled into a room before they went out there, and they were told what to say, and it had to have been super uncomfortable. And then you're being questioned by the press, and you know you didn't fucking go, but you just made history. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just gets worse. It's just like, fuck. It's really like, I've been questioning the moon landing for a long time, and I just can't. It's hard for me to buy it. And like when we were watching the video where they were showing the photoshops and they were just altering the levels and you could see where it was photoshopped, a lot of that shit, a lot of the pictures they took from the moon, when you do that same thing, you can see that they photoshopped out the sky. So they inserted a black sky. So it's definitely interesting, but we've got 4 left. Let's keep this fun train moving.
Oh, these people. All right. First, you'll see it there. And I've put arrows so you can see. You can clearly make out that it's a fly. Kind of flies around, gets blurred, and then it's in the shot, and it's walking, and I think it's on the outside of the glass. Even if it was on the inside of the glass, it couldn't fly around in the space station properly.
Brought that one up because I thought it was funny, because I was like, okay, could it be a fly? Sure. Could it be some CGI bullshit? Sure. You know, but,
it's something.
It would be so hilarious though if NASA was putting out these videos and like shit like that happened, and they're like, fucking leave it. Who's gonna find it? You know, who's gonna think? You know, you're looking at a picture from space. They're gonna be too absolved and fuck. Oh, look at that picture from space to see the fly. And then some asshole on TikTok's like, I drew an arrow showing the fly. Like, my God.
But also, I want to put this out there. I haven't heard being like, even if it was on the inside, it couldn't fly right in the space station. First of all, we don't know. We don't know. That little shit could just powerhouse its way through.
Right. That's a great experience. Like, could you imagine that flies into the rocket and shit heading up to space? Like they take off and he's just like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Like, no,
and then he's in space and he's like, oh shit.
I wasn't ready.
And he survived. If he's inside that motherfucker, he survived. This is a video about the firmament.
There's a theory that we haven't ever been to outer space because of a transparent barrier that surrounds our entire world, and that past this barrier isn't open space or a vacuum, but water. Now, it all might sound crazy, but back in 1962, the US government launched a couple of nukes into the sky to allegedly test out the atmosphere's reaction to them, or that's what they want us to believe. But some say they were actually trying to see if they could crack that invisible barrier. Ironically enough, this program was called Operation Fishbowl. This theory is further speculated, as many have said that if you look at the stars with your own eyes, or zoom in on them with a camera, it seems to be twinkling or shining through a liquid-like substance. As rocket enthusiasts have observed, that rockets we have launched do seem to hit an invisible ceiling that causes a ripple-like effect that you would see in water, leading to a pretty strange theory.
Amazing graphic research for Flat Earth. Have you ever seen zoomed in pictures of planets and stars?
Nah.
They're very interesting. I couldn't find a good enough video to play, and I know that's funny because some of the videos I play are absolute shit. But if you look, like, they almost look like they're like morphing, and they really look like they don't look like planets at all. They don't look like what you would think a star would look like at all. I'll see if I can pull up a video at another point. I thought I had one that was pretty shitty, but I was willing to play it, but it didn't end up on here, so I don't know if I decided not to or not. But these next two, this is about 10 minutes worth of video. This guy has a funny has an interesting story about the moon landings and how they were faked.
Hello, my name is Gene Gilmore. My birth given name is Eugene Reuben Akers. I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out until after my death. So I have nothing to gain, nothing to profit by telling you what I'm going to tell you. Okay, anyway, this is the story that my dad told me on his deathbed. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968, okay? In Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. He said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was created the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. And when Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson. And here is that list, and I gave it to Bart Seibel as well. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Wernher von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie. I realized my dad wasn't lying. I lifted the lid off my dad's case, and you can see that his name is Cyrus Eugene Akers. He was born on July 17th, 1933. He died on September 28th, 2002. Here's his badge, and I wanted to see if I could get as close as possible so that you can read the numbers on the bottom, which are, okay, there it is. (07596). 07596. That's my dad. And it must have been a really early picture because he's only got 2 stripes, so that was back in the 50s, I'm sure. Probably not long after I was born.
So there's an account from a gentleman who says his father, who was in the Air Force, was a guard for the hangar that they filmed the moon landings in. Only 15 people were allowed in. Some very familiar names: Wernher von Braun, the Nazi brought over on Operation Paperclip, who was one of the founders of NASA. James Webb, you might remember his name from his telescope. And Van Allen, the Van Allen radiation belt, or what I think might be the firmament. So it's just another piece of potential information that leads me to believe that we never went to the moon.
Right.
Very interesting. The more and more I do research on the moon landings being fake, the more and more I'm like, shit, I don't think we went. The question for me is, how long can they perpetuate this lie? You know, they keep saying, oh, we're going to Mars. Oh, we're going back to the moon. They say we're going back to the moon.
Well, my thing of it is why would we never go back? Like, I've brought this up before. They're like, oh, we're going to go colonize Mars. Cool. Why are we not doing a test run of these biodomes on the moon?
Oh, yeah. You know, when asked, I forget who it was, but somebody in NASA was asked why we haven't gone back to the moon. It's like, oh, we destroyed the technology. Like, destroyed the technology? I've got more technology in this fucking phone than was on that freaking shuttle. Like, yeah. Come on. Quit bullshitting us. But I'm really leaning towards, I don't think we went to the moon. I think it was all bullshit. I'm starting to think that I don't even know if we've ever even been into space. I just don't know what to believe anymore. There's just so many different angles. But we do have one last video. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's crank this one out and then give our final thoughts.
I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out. And I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2. Now, this is actually the Encyclopedia America, but the Encyclopedia Britannica is the same thing as Encyclopedia America. It's just the Britain version. So I call it the Britannica. Anyways, this is volume 2 out of the alphabet A. We're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, We're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the new encyclopedias because the government's discontinued them. But what I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, let me show you with an image on Google Earth's heliocentric model. And now here we are at 80 degrees latitude and 90 degrees longitude. And as you can see, we're about a third over the supposed continent of Antarctica. And there, it's supposed to be, the dome was supposed to be 13,000 foot high. Makes no sense, right? Okay, now on this geocentric model, all of us truthers, flat earthers, know that the supposed Antarctica is nothing more than the ice wall. So if we go out here about a third over the ice wall, just like you've seen on the heliocentric image, about a third over Antarctica, then this is where the dome comes down to meet the ice, somewhere hundreds of miles off through the ice desert there, but somewhere right in here around 80 degrees latitude and 90 degrees longitude, this dome is about 13,000 foot above this ice wall. Now, if you go back out into the center of the Earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament with a little bit of calculation, it's going to show that it's about 385,500 feet away. It's really, really simple. And isn't it awful coincidental that the Antarctic Treaty of 1958 bans anyone from going to Antarctica? And guess where that ban starts at the 80th parallel south. And as you can read here, Antarctica is a continent, is located in the southern hemisphere. It is the fifth largest continent and has an area of about 14 million square kilometers. The continent is almost completely covered by ice and is very difficult to access. There are only a few research stations that are located on the continent. People can only visit Antarctica if they have permission from the authorities. Now, if you're not familiar with any of this at all, and you're just now new to all this, you can say, well, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But what you got to ask yourself is, why do all the maps before 1958 show a flat Earth with the ice wall around it and a firmament, a dome? And not to mention the fact that all ancient cultures depicted a flat Earth with a dome over it, a firmament over it, for thousands of years. And let's not forget that the Holy Bible depicts a flat Earth with ice walls and a firmament being a dome. And why does the encyclopedia tell you that there's a dome there and it gives you the exact height at a certain latitude and longitude? Well, the reason is because in 1958, that's when all governments and all nations of the world signed the UN treaty to ban all civilians from going to the Antarctica. And NASA came in and erased everything, just like they're erasing everything today. So again, ask yourself, if all this existed before 1958, why doesn't it exist now? How come it all of a sudden was erased and just disappeared out of your history books, out of your encyclopedias, out of your libraries? Wake up, people. Wake up.
I love how that dude sounds like he has smoked at least 5 packs of Marlboros a day since
For
he was
sure.
since he was 7 years old.
Yeah, he probably enjoys his whiskey too, I imagine. He sounded like I did a week ago when I still had the flu.
Oh man.
That was rough. Yeah, man, just some things to think about. It's really hard to subscribe to the flat earth, but when you look into some of the shit, it's like, I mean, they got some points. You know, why in the 1958 Encyclopedia Americana does it talk about a dome being 13,000 feet high at the 80th parallel? And that just so happens to be where they decided, hey, you can't go beyond that. You can't even go there.
Yeah.
And in 1958, they create the treaty, and then all that information disappears. It makes you go, is it possible? 1,000% maybe.
1,000% maybe. I mean, I'm not 100% ready to buy into the flat Earth
Neither am I.
talk. But at the same time, I'm not willing to be open minded to it. Like, I'll listen.
For sure.
But I don't know. I don't know.
It's a crazy because we've been indoctrinated. So for us to be open minded, but like you start. Why haven't we gone to the moon? Why isn't there? If we have been in space, why isn't there a picture? Why isn't there a picture of Earth from space that's actually real and not CGI or photoshopped in any way? Why is there an Antarctic treaty? And then you start putting the puzzle pieces together, and it's like I just have more questions. The more I dig into it, the more questions I have. I absolutely love to look up debunking of certain flat earth theories, and a lot of them have been debunked, but there's some that still have yet to be debunked.
Well, Aaron had a good point of how come you can go anywhere in the world but there. I'm of the persuasion that I think that we're not free to go anywhere we want. They've just gotten really good at discouraging us from going places without openly discouraging us from going places. Did you guys know Disney has doorways that their staff members use painted a certain color of green that is actually proven to make people not want to go to it and not be attention grabbing? It's called Go Away Green.
Really?
It's a color that it literally does something with our brains where like it doesn't stand out to us, it's not noticeable to us, but it's there, and it's called Go Away Green.
That is crazy.
Let me double check myself. Now I've got myself questioning.
No, you're absolutely right. Interesting.
But I know Disney's one of the main ones that uses it, so that their cast members and stuff can move around without being bothered by park guests.
Wow. Super interesting. They also licensed the color to the military.
Oh!
Interesting.
So, see, that's what I'm saying, though. It's supposed to be the happiest place on Earth, but they're using colors like by the name Go Away Green to keep us from going places they don't want us to go without telling us we can't go there.
Wow. Dude, that's Disney. We need to do an episode on Disneyland and Disney World and shit.
I mean, I won't disagree. So I mean, it's just something to think about. There is they've literally did the research and are like, what color will make people not want to go over to this area?
Interesting. Now, I will eventually be going to Disney with the kiddo.
Man, I'm waiting for mine to be older. Like I'm waiting for
that shit.
Like I want him to at least have enough energy to make it through the day. Because with my kid, I don't feel like schlepping 80 pounds of 5-year-old out of.
I went at 5
Disney,
and I'll tell you what. My dad was carrying me on his shoulders for a long, and it got to the point where my dad was like, "I should have taken this little bastard to Disneyland," because I was bitching and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I want to wait until he's like. My wife's like, we're not gonna wait until he's super old, but I wanted to wait until he's like 10. at least, because then he'll have enough energy to go all day, and he'll have to be carrying me out. But
I don't know if I'd go till 10. I was thinking with my kid, I thought 5, and then I remembered what I was like at 5. I was like,
yeah,
maybe like 7, 8, 9. I don't know. 10, it seems like the magic's a little bit taken away.
all Brick Monroe family trip.
Dude,
Oh,
yes. That would
yeah.
be fucking awesome. I'm sure Bristy would be super stoked about that.
I mean, well, yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah, that would be
hello.
fun. Yeah, hell yes. Yeah, dude. I like the sound of that.
Bristy, I know you're in here. What do you think?
Yeah, she'd absolutely be down for that. I guarantee it. She still keeps. We still need to talk about a trip to Arkansas because we want to go to that. We want to go to all the cool shit that you guys go to that I always see pictures of. So,
Oh, bro, yeah, she messaged me the other day, and I
did
just,
she?
yeah, she's like, it's between you and Chris. Get it figured out. And I'm like, okay.
Awesome. Well, the fun part about this show for me is just throwing ideas out and just bouncing them around, seeing what people think. I'm not out to convince anybody the Earth is flat. Like I said, I don't subscribe to either because I don't know how to prove either. But we all need to do an overnight paranormal. I've been saying it. I've been saying it.
I'm telling you, like, look, here's the thing. Here's how I know this is going to go down. There's two options.
I'm going to be scared.
No, there's two outcomes that's going to come from this. Either we go and shit goes down and I have to save your ass. Or we go and nothing happens and I still have to save your ass from the depression that you're going to go through for nothing happening.
I would pick a location where I know something. I need something. I don't have to see a ghost, but if I hear some crazy shit,
I think our best bet would be Waverly Hills.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're right. 100%. But it's definitely something that we've talked about and that we still would like to do at some point. It's just a matter of money. But yeah, man. Is the Earth flat? Who knows? But there's some compelling shit. There's some compelling shit, and the government does some weird shit. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to think, and it's fun to remain open-minded about things. But I really don't want to. I don't want to give up on aliens in space just yet. I really don't.
No, I'm still pretty pro that. I mean, it's some interesting stuff. It's just fun to think about different things.
Yeah. However, I will say this: Werner von Braun, the Nazi who came and founded NASA, he did mention on his deathbed that they would try to fake an alien invasion. The aliens aren't real. And on his headstone, it mentions a Bible verse about the firmament. So there's that. So.
Okay.
Who knows? They're talking about going to the moon. Prove it. And if these guys, they're sending basically a autonomous vehicle with influencers and celebrities to do a trip around the moon. So when that happens, you better show me a picture of the fucking Earth, dude. End it all. End the speculation. Show me a picture of the backside of the moon. Show me all the pictures of space. And like the dude said in the video, show me one of these 30,000 satellites floating around. You know what I mean? Show me something. Show me something that's real. Fuck. As soon as I see it, then I'll go, okay, there you go. But there's no way to fake a photo and not have some Photoshop expert bring it into a program and go, oh yeah, look, it's Photoshopped here. You know what I mean? They don't have that technology to fake that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So show me some real shit. So we'll see. But that's 2 hours, folks. Talking Paranormal's back. We'll see you next Saturday night, right around 7:00. And I don't know what you want to talk about next week, man. We'll
let's put our heads together and come up with something.
Okay. I know that we've mentioned the Dyatlov Pass stuff. But we'll figure something fun out. But I had to. I was telling Matt because he asked me what we're talking about because we didn't even have a subject. But I had been going crazy on conspiracies and flat Earth and shit, and I was like, well, I've kind of been saving a bunch of videos, so we'll just throw those up and just have a fun time. So we're back. Thank you for joining us once again. You guys are all awesome, and it was fun as usual. So Peckerwood, I'll figure something out for shirts. I'll get your sizes and Lance's sizes. And if anything, I'll hand make them and I'll get them shipped out to you guys and we'll figure out a price or whatever. So we can just get you some swag to represent Down Under. And
come from a land down under.
Yeah. I do believe that Australia is real. Let me just say
I
that.
think Australia is real. I think Australia is trying to kill whoever lives there.
yeah, definitely. Australia does not like people. Yeah, fun stuff, and I cannot wait for the Cocaine Bear. When is that coming out?
Bro, I don't know, but like here's the thing. We gotta find a way to watch this movie together.
Could you imagine live streaming it? Oh, that would be fun. It'd be illegal as fuck, but actually, I don't know if it's for.
No, because like people with react videos,
Yeah.
they can only show like X amount of minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and they have to like have it like super see through to where it's rarely picked up.
Dude, I will fly out to Arkansas just to watch Cocaine Bear.
Like, what are y'all doing? Oh, we are watching Cocaine Bear.
You know, there was a period of time where people were going into the theaters, and you know this. They were bringing like camcorders and shit and filming so that they could post them up online. I watched a guy get booted out of the theater for that shit. I was surprised. I was like, man, couldn't he get arrested for that shit? That's like serious piracy shit.
You
they
could,
just
but
kicked him out.
anymore, all you gotta do is be slick enough to get away with one of the DVDs.
Yeah, that's true. Pooh Bear horror. Oh yeah, yeah.
There's
They're
a
doing
Pooh Bear horror movie.
Yeah. So
Hold on.
they are taking Winnie the Pooh and taking him to an extreme where he's fucking murdering people and shit.
How to get my keyboard reconnected. Pooh Bear.
I don't know if it's become public domain or what, but they're yeah, it has to be public domain. That's got to be the only way they can do it.
It has to be because Disney owns Winnie the Pooh.
Oh fuck! I'm sure Disney's just. Could you imagine if Disney was actually behind it? And they're like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just embrace it. Let's embrace our dark side.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to shoot you the link real fast. Let's play the trailer.
Okay. We're going to close out on this trailer, folks. Where are you sending it? On Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Blake. He never gets any kind of like reference. Oh, I sent it to the wrong chat. There we go.
Okay, let's see here. Blood and Honey. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's good.
Okay. I have not seen this trailer yet, everybody, so.
Come to think of it, I haven't seen it yet either. I just know about the movie. So this should be interesting. This will be fun. The fuck? Is it up there? All right, cool. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You know, you're the first person I ever shown this place to.
And why am I so special?
Because soon we'll be Christopher and Mary Robin. We should be close now.
We're not going to find them.
We will. Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, we were friends for many years, and they're out there.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Christopher, we need to leave. Now.
I really need to find out what's happening here, okay?
Chris, can you turn it up a hair?
I can't.
Oh.
This place is kind of cool. Did you see how it's a pool? We need to go. Laura's dead. There's someone else outside. What was that?
We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please? I would have never left, I swear. I
Bro, this looks dumb as hell.
Oh yeah. Talk about the ultimate B horror movie.
Looks dumb as all get out.
Oh, it's gonna be stupid as fuck.
Like now the Grinch movie, that looks funny. Like funny B movie. That
Oh, really?
looked, yeah. Low budget as fuck. Their budget was a toddler with an iPad.
It honestly would have been a little bit funnier if they'd like used like the movie Ted.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah, like a little like Winnie the fucking Pooh getting crazy. That's... No, they just use some dick bag and a fucking bear mask.
Times got hard for the guy that played Michael Myers after they did that last movie. He found work wherever he could.
Yeah. But all right, folks, that's it. We'll see you next week right here on Talking Paranormal. Remember, anything is possible. 1000% maybe. And don't stick your dick in a portal.
In a portal.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.